Welcome to the video review of Transformers TFC Toys Dr. Crank. This is the fourth figure in the Hercules set to be released, and he is obviously not Hook. Now this figure is quite nice, I have to admit. The vehicle mode is that of a crane truck, and it works really well. I still don't like these weird translucent red guns that come with the figures, but you know what, I can deal at this point. After this, we only have 2 more figures, so. The figure does have a couple of gimmicks, or specifically one big gimmick, which we'll get into now. So first off, I'm going to remove the guns. Now the guns can actually be placed on anywhere that it has holes big enough to hold them. Unfortunately, the holes on the side, they can hold it, but you are going to mar the plastic. So we'll put that off to the side. Also, it does come with a hook, apropos named, but it doesn't really do anything. It just sits off to the side. Now, if you wanted to, there's enough mechanical ability here to actually string a cable for this figure. Didn't come with one, but you can do it yourself. So we'll remove this and put it off to the side. This purple bit, I think this is going to form the cannon barrel of Hercules' main weapon. Other than that, it does nothing. So, in this mode, you can deploy the crane. Oops, did not want to do that. So, move that up and put that off, or just get this out of the way. And that is one of the issues I have with the figure, is that even though this can be removed, it just pops off on mine way too easily. So, hydraulically, it can lift up with no problems. The crane can also extend. And boy, can it extend! That thing extended a good, I don't know, 1.5 feet, or probably 14 to 15 inches is the full extension of the crane boom. That's not too shabby. So returning the crane boom back to its normal position, we're going to go ahead and just remove the boom just to get it out of the way for right now. So transformation into robot mode is really pretty easy, but very cool. First we're going to come under here and push up on these little areas next to these pegs. And when we push up, they will automatically slide up and out of the way. That will allow you to rotate the entire front out and form the legs. Now looking at the other side of the figure, what we're going to do is reach around and pull or flip out the wheels onto the back. Next, we're going to come to what is the back of the vehicle mode and take these sections and actually rotate them out like that. And then that will enable us to slide this whole section out and down like that. Now, this whole section right here and this section are actually plugged into what will be the robot head. And trust me, getting it moved around and transformed correctly is kind of a pain when you're going back into vehicle mode. And we'll just take the head and rotate it around. And there we go. Here we have a Dr. Crank. The last part of the transformation with Dr. Crank is reattaching the crane boom. Now, this is a little funny because if you just attach it normally, or the way it comes in the box, it's just a little, or it's too big. Now I'll show you what I mean here. There is a this bit right here snaps and allows it to turn. Now, when it comes in the box, it's actually like that, where the peg is all the way at the back. And as you can see, that would cause some problems. So just be aware of this. And you have to fiddle with this for his other transformation, which we'll talk about here in a second. Dr. Crank's robot mode is very, very nice looking, but he does suffer from what I have dubbed giant backpack syndrome. There's really not much you can do with the ginormous backpack other than take it off and just have him walking around without it. The other thing I don't really care for with this figure is the fact that he has no feet. I know that sounds weird, but he just has stubs for feet. Nitpick, I know, but that's just me. So overall, I do really dig this figure. I think he's a very nice complement to the others, and he looks good even though he has no real feet. And a ginormous backpack. So, what is this other transformation I was talking about? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at that. So I've returned the figure to vehicle mode in order to do this transformation. The first thing we're going to do is pull off the crane boom. Next, take the entire figure with the red part of the cab pointing up and split it in half. And then rotate that around like that. Once we do that, this little gray piece right here can flip up and lock it into place. Now the one thing I did forget, turning it back to vehicle mode, is coming under to the bottom of the figure. And we're going to need to deploy some attach points. So the first thing we're going to do is go off to the side here, the side with the hinge, and flip out these gray attach points. Now the first time I did this was really, really hard. I mean, these things, the pegs in these things are crazy tight. So I'm just going to have to use something to wedge the one out just enough so that I can flip it down manually. And then so now that those are flipped out, fold it and lock it into place. And just make sure that you don't screw it up. Next, we'll take this section, rotate it out, rotate it up, and then flip up the Devastator, or I'm sorry, Hercules head, and fold it down. And then that will peg into this little peg that's sticking up. And there we have the head. And oh man, this head is awesome. It's got a ton of light piping. I mean, the whole back here is red, and that just looks very, very cool. So you can then reattach the crane, but, well, not really. Remember this little bit I was talking about? I have to rotate it such that it gets the rest of the crane out of the way. So there we can get a more G1 accurate Hercules head. So how does it combine? Well, here's heavy labor. These two connector ports will fit these two bits. Now, oh, and don't forget to take the cab and flip it up and out of the way. This is going to this requires a lot of force. The first time I did this, I really had to push, and once I got it connected for the first time, it seemed to work okay. So now that I have it connected, I just fold that bit up, and this is supposed to snap into place, and it does, but it also comes off very easily at times. So here we have a torso. So as I said, Dr. Crank, I pretty dig him. I mean, he's definitely a nice addition to the set. And as I forgot to tell you, these are the connector points for the arms that you just flip out. And you're probably going to need something to leverage them at least once. Okay, never mind, I was able to get it out. But yeah, so it's looking really cool. We've only got 2 more figures to go, gang, before we've got a full Hercules set. I'm looking forward to it. Now, I picked this guy up at tfsource.com, and I suggest you go there as well, because they seem to have the best shipping rates for me anyway. So this is Spada, and I will Spada the Baltmatrix, and I will catch you next time. One last thing before we go. Now, you'll notice there are connector ports here on both sides of the figure. Here and here, here and here, and here and here. What are these extra connectors for? Is it just for heck's sake, to make the molds easier? Or are they related to the little surprise or secret that TFC Toys was alluding to a little while ago? We'll just have to wait and see.